Nature has always tested humankind, but in the spring of 1927, the Mississippi River rose higher than ever before. What followed was not just a flood, but one of the greatest natural disasters in American history. Some called it an act of God. Others, a tragedy built by human hands. This is the story of the Great Mississippi Flood. In late 1926, rain poured relentlessly across the Midwest. The ground was soaked, the rivers full, and still the storms did not stop. Farmers looked to the skies in fear, wondering when the water would give way. The Mississippi River was no longer a friend. It was a ticking time bomb. The levees, meant to protect the people, began to show cracks. Tiny streams of water pushed through the soil, warning that the walls of earth could no longer hold. Men stood watch day and night, praying the river would stay contained. But the Mississippi was stronger than their prayers. On a cold spring day, the river struck. The levees collapsed with thunder, and a wall of water charged forward. Homes shattered, trees snapped, and entire towns vanished in minutes. The Mississippi was no longer a river. It was an ocean unleashed. Children screamed as the flood swallowed their homes. Families clung to rooftops, watching helplessly as everything they owned disappeared. The water did not stop. It kept rising, higher and higher, as if the river hungered for more. Rescuers rode through the drowned streets, battling currents to reach the stranded. Every person pulled into a boat was a victory against the river. But for every life saved, many more were lost beneath the waves. The Mississippi swallowed the land whole. Fields, forests, and towns, all gone beneath an endless sea. 27,000 square miles, an area larger than some countries, was drowned. More than 200,000 people were left homeless. They gathered in camps, living in tents with little food, waiting for help that came too slowly. For the poor and the forgotten, the camps became prisons of despair. Most of the displaced were African American. They were forced to labor on the levees at gunpoint, kept under guard, and denied fair treatment. The flood revealed not only nature's cruelty, but humanity's as well. Yet, even in sorrow, voices rose. The flood gave birth to music. Blues singers told the world of their pain, turning tragedy into songs that would echo for generations. In Washington, leaders debated. President Calvin Coolidge refused to visit the disaster zone, leaving the Red Cross and local officials to handle the suffering of hundreds of thousands. The people began to question, did their government care at all? For many African American families, the flood was the final blow. They packed their bags, boarded trains, and left the South behind. They traveled north to Chicago, Detroit, and beyond, searching for dignity, for freedom, for a life the river could never take again. When the waters finally receded, the land lay in ruin. Farms destroyed, towns broken, dreams washed away. But for the survivors, life had to continue, even on ruined soil. The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 was more than a disaster. It was a test of strength, a tragedy of injustice, and a moment that changed America forever. The river may have taken the land, but it could never drown the human spirit.